Alright, I left the Blue Water Casino and RV Park this morning around 10 o'clock. It's Tuesday, April the 30th. And I traveled about 110 miles toward Wickenburg, and there's a little park out here. It's called the, what is it called? Oh, North Ranch RV Park. It's in Congress, Arizona. It's about a 15-minute drive from Wickenburg, which is one of the towns I wanted to go sightsee in. They got a Vulture City mine, a ghost town out here. So I think this is a good time to spend a week or two out here. And then after that, we will see where the wind blows. I'll keep you posted. Oh, in this video, I think you're going to be in for a real treat. I did one of my interviews with my neighbors here who are camped next to me. Oh, catty corner from me. A couple of old timers, they've had a very interesting life, and I wanted to capture some of that. So that's this video. And they are actually sailors. They sailed across the Pacific and around the world, actually. And they made a little video called the Blue Water Odyssey. They were kind enough to give me a copy of it. One of the few remaining copies, actually. And when I talked to them, it's like, you know, he's a physicist, a full-blown physicist. You know, kind of works on big physicist projects, you know, like draining the ocean and things like that. Doing 3D modeling of the ocean bottom. He was in the Navy. He was an officer in the Navy, and she raised her kids, his wife, and you'll see their names will be in the video, so I won't go into that here. But I really was interested in finding out the other side of the candle. Meaning, you know, they're in their latter parts of their lives. They're doing the things on land that they used to do on the sea, just as I'm doing. I've never been on the sea. I never sailed. And I don't pretend to want to do that. But God, what a life they've led. And here they were. And I just met them by accident. So they were kind enough to grant me an interview. And I sat down with them and we talked for about 15-20 minutes. And you're about to see that on this video. So give me your thoughts and share, like, and subscribe. And that would help me out. I appreciate it. Thank you. So enjoy the video.
Take away the ocean and
drain the ocean.
Oh yeah, drain the oceans, yeah.
The technique they're using to make those underwater pictures was my thesis.
Holy crap.
Master's thesis.
Wow.
That's how they do it. That was quite a while back.
Yeah. Can we mute the Can we mute the video?
No, we'll cut it off.
But given my recent life experiences, I will say that I am no longer looking back on my previous life. Instead,
I just met Bob, right? Bob?
Yes.
And
Sandra. Yes.
At the RV park here, and I found out some surprising things about them. Sure, lights,
camera action.
lights, camera action.
Oh my goodness.
And
you think I could stay awake that long?
and
I'll let you sit beside me.
they agreed to sit down with me and just tell me a little bit about what they've been through. They've been married for 65 years.
Yes, so far. She was my high school sweetheart.
I had one of those.
You had one of those?
Yeah, 46 years. I didn't quite make it. Can I spin this around?
Yeah,
Can I spin this around? Okay, go ahead. I'm fine.
Sure.
So, I understand you guys sailed across the Pacific. Is it the Pacific Ocean?
Well, we crossed the Pacific, and we essentially started from San Diego, sailed around the world. Took 10 years, well, no, 5 years. 5 years to do it. Then I went back to work, and I told them that I was going to work for 5 years. I did work 4, which is close to 5. And then we got back on our sailboat, and for the next 10 years, we sailed around the world again.
So you guys are shellbacks?
Yes, definitely.
We've been around a couple times.
Twice?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So did you do the ceremony with the king of the sea?
For the first time we went with the children, Bob was in the Navy, so he
Had been in the Navy.
had been in the Navy. So he was a shellback. So he initiated all the things that we had to do to rise to.
So you were
shellback
King
status.
Neptune, huh?
Yes, yes. So the children and I, but all of us had to participate in the festivities.
Oh my! So you counted down right up until you went across the equator, and that was the time and the moment, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, is it like I've seen other videos do the shellback thing, and it's amazing. You know, it's like a tradition.
Well, yeah.
Well, they did live through it.
Yes. Yeah. I think it was probably a little easier than what he had to go through.
Yeah, but it's just-
You went okay. So you were in the real Navy.
Yes.
That
I
did the
was
real.
in the Navy. I joined out of high school.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to go to sea.
Uh-huh.
I stayed in the Navy and essentially for 20 years, and in that 20 years, I went to sea for 1 year. They sent me through college, through graduate school, then I got into research and development with them, and I worked on those kind of projects until I got out of the Navy. And when I retired from the Navy, we got on our sailboat in San Diego and started west.
Did you work on the Manhattan Project by chance?
No,
You ran too fast, huh?
yeah, I ran way too fast. Yeah, they were trying to chase me down with one of those atomic bomb things.
Yeah, I think he was a mere child at the time.
Did you know Oppenheimer?
No, I did not.
I hear he's quite the character, quite the charismatic character.
Evidently.
Yeah, I mean he was in Montana when he set up the city because that's where he wanted to set it up because he's in love with the area, so I'm told. And he had a great time convincing people like this is the place to go. Well, it's in the middle of nowhere. Well, exactly, it's in the middle of nowhere, so let's have a little privacy here. So it's amazing. So what's your story in this?
My story is that he married me when I was a baby.
You didn't run too fast either, did you?
You were 18,
Well, a mere child.
a mere child.
And anyway, so I have stayed home and I raised the children. And then when he got out of the Navy, then we decided to take a trip with the kids while we still could.
So how'd you find your sailboat?
Well, we found it in San Diego. We bought a boat when I was up in Monterey and essentially sailed it down to San Diego. And in San Diego, we saw this boat at the pier. It was for sale, so we bought it. And then we traveled around a little bit, around California mainly, to get to know the boat. And then when I got
Got to
out
do a
of the-
shakedown.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's a requirement.
And then when I got out of the Navy, we took off on that. Essentially, I got transferred over from San Diego to Hawaii, and we sailed it over to Hawaii. And then when I got out of the Navy, after served 20 years, then I essentially took off.
I was stationed in Hawaii for 4.5 years.
Is that
Yeah.
right?
Bad
Yeah.
duty over there.
Yeah, we had a pretty good duty over
Oh man, I was sad to get transferred on that one.
Oh, I know.
there. Yep.
The best weather of any.
Oh
place.
yes, even my relatives flew to Hawaii to visit, and they said, "Oh, you're in Hawaii? We'll come and visit." And I said, "Okay."
Sure, yeah. It doesn't matter what time of the year.
No, it doesn't. We had a few. I was also on Okinawa. That was one of my first tours. Was in Okinawa, Japan, and I was stationed there for about 4 years, and I worked in the Torii station there, the base there for monitoring the Chinese and the Russians and whatnot. And I worked for NSA, so I was part of the NSA experience. And
Yeah, I was in Vietnam, serving in Vietnam, and my detailer, I was at that time a lieutenant in the Navy,
Mhm.
and my detailer called me up and said they had a place for me in graduate school in Monterey at the U.S. Navy postgraduate school, but I would have to leave Vietnam early. Duh! So I
Oh,
went
I've
there.
got to go to school too.
Then I went back and went to graduate school.
did you hold your arm out and say, twist it real hard so you
Yeah,
make your
that
point?
was it. And essentially, I went through graduate school there, and essentially, what's sort of interesting to me right now, the device that you see, the show that's on the TV that says "Drain the Oceans," when they start talking about the underwater images that they're doing, the technique I believe they're using is what my master's thesis was in Monterey about how to do that, and that was.
Were you able to verify that, or
Pardon?
were you able to verify that simply by
No,
looking
I
at
don't
it?
know that for sure. I know the fact is, it's a holographic acoustic method to do images underwater, and that's essentially what it was about.
Mhm.
And
They
I
use
know
that to find. They use that to find treasure ships that are
Yes.
sunk.
Yeah, they
Yes,
use it
not
to
trying
show
to-
anything that's on the bottom. If you do this right, you can get a holographic picture in sound, in the sound field, of what it is you're observing.
They did that with the Shroud of Turin. Have you ever heard of that?
Pardon?
They did that with the Shroud of Turin.
Yeah.
They made it. They actually did a 3D picture of Jesus, based on, well, they think it's Jesus, on the Shroud of Turin. They did all these holographic things and they brought it to life. And you can look at it and it goes like, that's a picture of Jesus, you know.
Huh.
It was,
That was, you know.
because there had been various reports on it over all these years. So.
I'm a big fan of the strange and mysterious.
Yeah.
There's a show called The Why Files. The gentleman does really good stuff with his subject matter, and he's a very good storyteller. So if you go on YouTube and look up Why Files and watch some of his videos, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Kick out of looking at some of those things.
So what you guys do on your trip? I mean, the food, the preparations, the stuff that you had to deal with, laundry,
Yeah.
water supply.
Well, we did laundry, and at that time, I could use Joy dishwashing liquid.
Mhm.
It was different than it is now
Mhm.
because it would suds in salt water. So I would wash the laundry in salt water and then rinse it in fresh water.
Hmm.
And then
Hang it
dry
up to the wind to take care of. Yeah.
And I had a little daughter, and sometimes she would jump up and down in the bucket
Yeah, in the bucket.
and be my little agitator
Yeah.
in more ways than one.
The agitator. She was the agitator.
Yeah, little agitator.
Is she sailing herself? Or?
She loves to sail. She's in San Diego, and
Is she married?
she was.
She was.
She's not married
She's
now.
not married now.
She is now going to be a professor at UCSD, right? Or
San Diego State.
San Diego State University. She's got a doctorate in nursing, and she's going to be a professor at that college. And she
Oh, so
just
she's not a
recently-
practicing nurse. She's just teaching nurses.
She's
No, she's
practicing at
she's
the
been
moment.
practicing at the moment.
Oh,
But she's getting ready to go back and start teaching at school.
well, that's amazing.
So anyway, it can be done that your children will survive even though they are not necessarily in school.
I had a 43-year-old son. He's in Parker, Arizona. Who's lived with us for 43 years. Didn't do his own life. He was living his sister's life, taking care of her kids. He was a babysitter until they grew up, and then she dumped him and went to Alaska. And I got him set up here in Parker. He's working at Walmart. He's in the deli. He's loving life now.
Good.
It's just amazing. But it took a while. It took a while to get him launched. 43 years. 43 years.
Yeah, when we stayed for I think 6 or 9 months in Australia and in South Africa.
The land down under.
Yeah, and both
And
of
they went
those,
to
they did
school.
go to school there.
I hear they have pretty good schools there.
Yeah, our son went to a private school in South Africa, which wasn't easy to get into, but yeah, it helped.
So
him a lot.
many colleges have lowered their standards in the United States. It's just unbelievable. I don't know what these kids are learning now. The recent news is the Palestinian thing going on over there and the Middle East. People yelling, "Kill!" I'm not going to say it here on camera,
Pathetic.
but
About almost 50% of the people who go to that aren't students in the colleges anyway.
no, they're
And what
not.
they're going is they're just young kids going to a party
Yeah, or they're paid to go to the party.
or
Yeah.
paid.
Yeah.
being paid
That's
to-
obvious. And what our country's going through right now really will depend on what's going on in November. I think for real.
Yeah.
The last election, it pissed me off so bad, I said, I'll never vote again. And then I talked to a lady, and she says, you got to vote. You have to vote. You have to vote. Because if you don't, America's lost. And so that I thought about that for a couple of months, and I guess I'm going to vote this year.
Well, it doesn't.
Well, the fact is, the whole thing to me comes down to energy. Energy is required to do anything.
Well, you're the physicist here.
Well, the fact of the matter is, drilling and getting the oil that we have more than any other country in the world has is the way you give the energy to do the other things.
So what do you think is stopping that from happening?
Well, a guy named Biden.
That's the first.
That was kind of a rhetorical question, I think.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I'm in with that. I understand. I'm a Republican. I'll come out and admit it.
Well,
I'm not in the closet.
I'm forever who's going to do the best job, you know.
That's my son. That's the way he says. I'm an independent. I just want to see what people are doing.
Yeah.
Although he's never
But
voted.
then you married me. How'd you
Oh,
know?
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't admit it either. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. You guys have been married 65 years. That's incredible. You don't see that these days.
And she still put up with me. Of course, when we were in high school, she wouldn't mind her father very well, so I figured that would work pretty good.
You know, when I had my 30th anniversary with my bride, I didn't know what to get her because I don't know what, men are like that. We just don't know. So I said, okay, gold, silver, copper, whatever, the tradition is at 30th anniversary. I didn't know, so I bought an RV and said, here's your anniversary present.
Well,
There
there
you go. Excellent.
It covers everything. It's got gold in it, it's got copper.
Yeah.
So,
We sold our boat, and then after we had sold it, it was about a year, I guess. And then we decided, well, we'll get an RV and start doing that thing. And so we got a country coach at that time, which was a very nice motorhome at that time. And then essentially, this is what, our third one?
Yeah.
No, it's not a.
I think this is, I'm sure this is the last one.
who picked it out?
Both of us.
Ah, come on, you picked it out. I can tell. You picked it out. You just convinced him to pick it out too.
Well, she did one good thing. She agreed with me that that's what we should get. And then I had to check her ID.
Anyway.
Oh, goodness.
We just, with him being in the Navy and sailing and stuff, we're just travel bugs. So
Yeah.
this was the next step for us.
So what was your most adventurous time sailing? Besides crossing the ocean, obviously.
Exciting time.
Places you've been, people you've
The
seen.
reality is we loved them all, and each of them was different because when you're here, you like what you're doing, you go to the next place. And it's sort of equivalent to what you do in an RV.
So the
reality
anchor.
is,
So the
you don't
anchor.
know for sure what it is until you get there, and when you get there, you enjoy it what you can, and the things that you like about it, you may come back at another time.
Did you ever duke it out over an anchoring ball?
Over what?
Over an anchoring ball. Duke it out. We got here first. You didn't do.
Yeah,
No,
we
we've
never
never
had
done
to
it.
duke
And
it
in
out.
general, we prefer to use our own anchor and do it that way.
Oh, cool.
We
The
know what's
one thing I remember, just offhand, we went into Paviete and you
in
anchored.
Tahiti.
Yeah, in Tahiti. And so you put a stern anchor out, and then you tie to the wall at the city. And so the boats are just lined up side by side going down the wall. And the wind had come up, and we end up getting our anchors all messed up with another guy. And so his was pulling ours up, and we were pulling his up. We couldn't get them unscrambled.
That's called anchor drag, right?
Yes, yes. So, what are we going to do? It was so amazing. The guy on the other boat says, well, I'm going to lunch first. We said, well, one of the guys on another boat that had diving equipment. So he went down and dived on
The anchors.
on the anchor chains.
and got us sorted out. But that was totally weird to me, to be in that kind of a situation, and then some guy just says, oh, well, I'm going to lunch. That,
He must have been really, really hungry.
Yeah, he didn't even offer to take us.
no.
Oh, my goodness. That's what you call, I didn't get a reach around on that one.
Yeah.
That was just kind of a funny one.
Well, my battery's getting low, so
Okay.
Unfortunately, I
good.
didn't charge it up. So any last thoughts before we...
Well, I think sailing and RVing in a way are kind of symbiotic, and this is our time to travel the U.S. and we're seeing lots of
It's actually
nice
kind
people,
of
meeting
safer
lots
to
of
be on
nice
the land
people.
than the sea, I think.
I think
But
so.
it's not as
Yeah,
adventurous.
well, it's a little easier to access
Right,
things.
yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Of course,
Yeah,
they call
have-
these land
they have
yachts for a
Cracker
reason.
Barrels, and they have Walmarts.
Yes.
I prefer
like
Cracker
that.
Barrels myself.
Yes, I do.
When
Too.
they let you stay, they're
always
getting
have a good
fewer and
breakfast.
fewer between. But yeah, I stayed at a Flying J or truck stop, and people was like, "Why do you want to stay at they're so noisy." I had a good time talking to truckers and just staying over. It wasn't that
It's very
noisy.
simple. You get earplugs and you go to sleep.
After a few shots of bourbon.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
a few
helps.
shots of bourbon.
That helps.
I'll just have a margarita.
Margaritaville. All right,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Okay.
Good night.
Is a 90-minute DVD which illuminates the beauty, adventure, and excitement of a family's world circumnavigation under sail. It chronicles an actual voyage, bringing to life the majesty of the ocean and the exotic places that such an endeavor touches. On their sailing catch Sea Witch, they departed San Diego, returning 5 years later, having sailed around the world. The DVD depicts robust blue water sailing, secluded anchorages, and interesting native cultures encountered along the way.
Sometime in the future, when you come this way again, you'll be in the high places, and there's still a long way to go. Seeing strange and different faces, but there's something you must know. Sometime in the future.